Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Feel free to make any suggestions on any videos you'd like to see. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's begin with the video. So first I'm going to put my reference photo on an image layer underneath my draw layer so that it helps me get the angles and the shapes of the picture first so that I can replicate it into my drawing. So I choose a dark red and lower the opacity so that it helps me draw out the shapes, and then I'll draw over that with a black so to get my final drawing. But it helps me to kind of make any mistakes that I want to make without that being the actual drawing, and that I can just draw over my final layer more simple and clear and less messy. So as you can see, I drew two circles. You can choose any width between them depending on how broad you want the shoulders to be, but I went pretty kind of close together. But that helps me to get the shape of the shoulders and the beginning of the arm. I also went on the inner side of the circle, drew straight lines down. You can make them kind of diagonal to kind of get the shape of their torso. That helps me. It also helps me to figure out how slim I want their torso to be, or how wide, basically. So right now I'm editing the shoulders of my figure to just get them even and clear and make it easier to see how they're going to look in the end. What I love about digital art is that you can make all the mistakes you want without having to actually pick up an eraser and erase it and then grab your pencil and just draw it again. You can just easily, with like one press, just click the eraser, erase it very smoothly. You can change the size of your eraser so it makes it more precise. Circles really help me to get the shape of the arms by drawing a big circle for the shoulders and then a smaller one for the elbows and then an even smaller one for the wrist. It just helps me figure out the size and the width of the arm, and it helps me to kind of connect the circles, if you think of it like that, till you get the shape of the arm and the legs. So they drew their feet a little differently than how I usually draw mine, and this isn't how I'm gonna finish drawing the feet. I do go back and redo it because I have to get the angle right, make the sizes even, because I can't have two different sized feet. I'm not very good at drawing hands or fingers at all, so this was a bit of a trial and error, but I eventually got there in the end by just following the reference photo. I do have trouble making the fingers even and more realistic along with the shape of the hand and the wrist, but I eventually got it, and it's much easier when there are a lot of pictures on Pinterest that can help you get the shape of hands and fingers. You just have to search it up. So right now I'm taking out any messy lines, just make it easier when I overline with black in the end. It makes it easier for me to get the shape instead of doing one line because of all the multiple lines in one spot, and then I have to go over again and replace it because it looks kind of weird and unrealistic. So I just remembered that I didn't even do the other line of her arm, so it looks like she has a very large arm, but I went back and did it. But I'm also going to remove any extra lines from her chest just to make it easier to get the final shape like I said before. Also, her shoulders point out too much, so I'm also making those come in more, making them a little less diagonal. When it comes to body proportions, it also helps me to know that, not all girls have very small shoulders, small waists. I know a lot of girls that have very broad shoulders, a thin waist, and then big hips. So if you think it looks a little weird that her shoulders are a little broad and her waist is so thin, don't, because there are a lot of different girls that have bodies like that and ones that are similar or completely different. So don't think that just because it looks abnormal, apparently, that it's not right, you have to keep redoing it and stuff, because a lot of girls look like that, and you shouldn't judge your art just because of what you normally see or what people see, and you think that they won't find it realistic, because not a lot of girls look like that when actually a lot really do. Doing the head is pretty simple for me. I try to draw a circle, or what looks like a circle, and then I do straight lines down from the edges of the circle, and then do a jaw by doing diagonal lines coming inwards towards the chest or the neck. And then you can either do a straight chin, some people do that, or you can make it flat or a little flat and more realistic. It depends on what your preferences are. So now that I've completely finished my drawing, I'm actually going to add another draw layer on top of it so that I can delete the layer of red and the messy lines, and that it won't show in my drawing, or delete everything. So first, I do a very small brush size, and I try to keep it as even as possible so that I don't have some lines on her body very thin and then some very thick. It looks very weird to me, and as a perfectionist, I'll just end up redoing it all, and then it just takes me a long time. Throughout the outlining process, sometimes I do make the shape smaller if I notice that it looks a little unrealistic or weird, and then I just kind of change it as I go along. But the fingers were a little hard for me. I had to change it quite a bit because when I figured out how to do the fingers, I realized that that's not really how someone's hand looks when it's sitting down like that. I do end up twisting the drawing or turning it when it comes to certain shapes or parts of my drawing, because it makes it easier to get the line without having to do it multiple times, because it's not natural to me the way that I'm drawing it. So I do turn it to make it easier and like faster during this process. So here I realized that the feet looked a little weird by the angle that they were coming at, and the sizes weren't very similar, and I didn't like the shape of them because it doesn't look realistic. So I ended up just changing it and making it look more realistic, considering that her right leg is kind of touching the ground and her other leg is just kind of facing the other way based on how it's bent over her other one. I ended up having to redo her head because for some reason it just erased away. But right after I do the outline, I just use the eraser to kind of take out some parts of the line to make it more even and not so thick on one part, and then as you can see me slowly going around the outline of her head to make it all even. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Feel free to like and subscribe, and also comment any videos you would like to see in my channel. And feel free to click on the description to see any extra information that's not in the video, or to also follow any social media that's in there. And just again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And by the way, I'm not sitting to be any kind of artist. I give full credit to the person that I referenced the photo from. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye!